So here we go, as we go through these stats, try and work out where our car is at the moment. So as you can see on the far right, we have a car which is at the bottom of the pack, and by a decent margin we're at the bottom. It doesn't appear on the graph for some reason, which is very confusing why. But hey, we're thinking through the menus, try and work out if we can find a quick upgrade we could add to the car for the next race, but we couldn't, and we go straight into qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. Here we go. As we go and check out to see if we can get a good setup. So one of the things I had issues with the last race was trying to sort out some setups. And so we went on Steam, got some setups. Just went, okay, you know what? We'll just dump some setups at the car and hope that we get a better result. Even so, this felt like a track I was going to do a lot better at anyway. So all we had was the setup that's going to really define it. The sun was getting really in my eyes, but you know, look, into the first corner, P1. Turn 2, still P1. I was quite surprised with this. I thought, okay, you know what? We might have done something wrong here. Something's up here. And you know what went wrong? We went wide. We went wide and fell down to 17th, 16th by one simple mistake. Whether that's sunlight or whether that's just me being a very, very silly there. You can see I wasn't completely planted on the car, but it's still like P10. Like, for the car to be as far down as it is, on the pecking order, to be able to be P9 at the moment was very, very uplifting. So yeah, I felt really good, and the battery was just teetering on the edge there. As you go through the right hander, really good exit out of that. Yo, we really went fast, and that was I'd say strong point as we come into here with P11 still, P9 now. We weren't really going to catch Norris. There was a massive gap there. You can see the massive gap was not going to come down, and it gives a bit of perspective how much time we're losing every single lap, and why these upgrades need to come quicker if we can get them, you know, because we are the back marker. We do finish the lap in P12? P12. A solid little qualifying there as we go into, you know, the first, you know, into qualifying. You know, P12, I'll take that. It's a good position to have as we do look to go into the race in a really good position. Lando was your old man, then Max Verstappen, George Russell. But where's our teammate? We're in P12. Where's our teammate? Don't take last. Okay. By about 3 seconds off. You can see where their pace is. It's about 3 seconds off the leaders. So that kind of puts us in that position of like, you know what? That's where we're at. As we just go back to the menus to get ourselves ready for the Australian Grand Prix race. So we go look at the strategy, try and work out. Yeah, we just went for the one stop. In short races like this, which are going to be 30 minutes long, there isn't really much we can do with the strategy. So that leaves us in a position of like, you know what, we just go with what we can. And at the moment, you can see I was diving to the inside. I wanted to get that inside. And you can see I'm really cutting up to Stroll, and we just make that eager pass on Pierre Gasly to get into P8 now. And we're right behind Leclerc and Hamilton, and that really put us in a really good position there. And you can see, oh, the lock up in front by Leclerc. Actually then helped to our advantage be able to get to the inside of Leclerc and actually start fighting him. We do go wide because I just didn't want to turn on Leclerc. I didn't want the damage. I didn't want the risk of damage. But we're in front of Hamilton. We was actually fighting with the top cars, and it really felt like in this race and what it's going to feel like in other races where there's going to be a gap between the top cars and us. But you see, we're keeping up with the Leclerc on this opening lap. I don't know how we was doing it. So you can see much a bit of the grass set, and I think the reason for that is literally because, well, I'm using the controller, but look, we try and squeeze to the inside. We just had a little bit extra speed. We're all on medium tyres, so there wasn't really that deficit of the tyre. But you can see Max Verstappen and Lando Norris was running away with this. But we were really trying to keep up. That's our goal, is to try and use Leclerc to try and run away with this a bit. Like, get away from Pierre Gasly and the mid-pack to hopefully just score some decent points. Because at the end of the day, we're not in a position to go fight for major points. We are just trying to use this season to sort out the videos, try and learn about this, try and learn about getting a good way of making this happen, and we go wide with turn 2. DRS was open and we didn't have DRS for some reason. I think it's because just where DRS activation point is. Oh, we really. See, even though we went wide, we was keeping up still. We seem to have some really good early on pace, but I think this is a big issue. We got good pace until we start getting that tyre wear. Look at us, fastest in Sector 1. That's pretty decent for a car which is not meant to even be this high up. As you can see, Hamilton eyeing us up, goes to the inside. Looking it up, eyeing it up there, he's right there. And we've got to kind of give him the room. Well, I was about to give him the room. I was about to let him pass. Hamilton had the inside, but guess what? We end up overtaking back around the outside of the left-hander there. And that put us 8 tenths, 9 tenths behind the Clerk. It's like, can we close that gap? As you can see, under braking, we gained like half a second there out of nowhere. And I think it was just by launching our brakes. You can see coming out the corner, we're skating around, we're sliding everywhere. We actually gave the Clerk a bump on the rear bumper there. And it was just putting the wheel wrong really set us up to have disaster. He actually set the fastest lap. We was fastest in the first sector, but the rest of it, no. The Kick Sauber, unfortunately, did retire. We don't know why. So yeah, now you can see the Kick Sauber did unfortunately retire there. We really got a bit skatish, and I think you can tell that in this race there was a lot of skating moments. There was a lot of moments I didn't feel completely planted with the car, and it was always quite scary, those sort of moments. Just not having that full plantness, and you can see there's a gap forming between us and the Clerk. And we don't know why. I was going to say I don't know why it occurred. I just didn't have the pace. Didn't have the pace in the car, and you can see Hamilton is still trying to make that move around us. Is it just the poor AI, or is it just me being bad at the game? We don't know, but I think it's a mixture of both. And look, Gasly and Carlos Sainz overtaking us now. So, oh, and guess what? Even Albon. But we go bow flipping head. Diving back to the inside. It's because we use a battery. I knew Hamilton was going to overtake me, so I didn't want to use too much battery on that straight. And, well, we fell back down to 11th place. Albon really came out of nowhere there.
Got a lot of spare energy.
So I wanted to try and save it, the battery for these DRS zones to try and hope us overtake, especially with cars like Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, where they're much better on the straight. I wanted to make sure we had a car that we could kind of like catch back up on. And you can see, like, we're using DRS and we're using ERS, and we only started catching them in the DRS in the braking zone where Carlos Sainz wasn't able to overtake Gasly, and now we're back into P9. So you can see this is going to be a matter of like a massive defense of trying to get a good result out of this. We're like with P4, with lap 4, sorry, and we're still fighting with Hamilton and Gasly, and we're still ahead of one Ferrari. And that's the kind of the goal. We were going to be playing catch up this season. I think that's where we know we're going to be at, is playing catch up to try and actually get a car that can contend and fight with cars like Pierre Gasly and Alexander Albon throughout the whole season. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz get really near. So I want to get back at Sainz. We trying it, but we don't. We just kind of cuddle up to his rear wing there. We cuddle up to his rear wing, thinking, you know what, we'll try and make the opportunity here on the DRS. Eyeing out, we want to try and make advantage of this opportunity. We go around the outside of Sainz. Sainz on the inside. We do make the move. I wasn't too worried about really trying to fight with Sainz. I really wanted to keep in DRS zone of any of the cars in front. Like, Hamilton wasn't running back up. To Russell in front of him. So we was going to be using Gasly to try and keep up with Hamilton. Hopefully get back up to him.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up. Gap to your teammate.
As you can see, our crew chief getting very excited. Us in the top 10. Like we've been in the whole race. But yeah, look at this. We overtook Gasly on the outside of turn 1. And look at this. We just seem to magically... I don't know what happened to Gasly. Gasly went really slow and lost like a second on this. And we just cuddled up back to Hamilton. And it was just a weird bunch of corners like there, where we was able to really get back up the coast with Hamilton and go, okay, you know what, head down, lock in. Let's see if we can make something of this. Make this race happen. And that's what we're trying to do. And you can see we're about to use DRS. We're about to use ERS. You can see I was a bit worried about tyre wear. So in the bottom left, you can see 26% of tyre wear on the left rear, and we're only lap 5. Like, okay, I wanted to try and get to about halfway through the race, nearly. I can't remember what the strategy was. Was it lap 8 or 9? But we come into the braking zone. I wasn't aiming to make the... I wasn't aiming to make the overtake. But you can see I really messed that up, and I really went to the back of Hamilton, and that wing damage would be cause us major problems if we occurred that sort of damage. So it is us just trying to manage our pace, try and manage keeping up. Yeah, I know we're not going to be good on the right-handed corners, so let's just use Hamilton to keep up, keep in that DRS zone, and try and use the DRS train to try and catch up. But I don't think it was ever going to happen with this game. With Formula 1, DRS training is a big thing, so being able to catch up to Russell and the faster cars in front wasn't going to happen. So we had to kind of pick our fights at this point. And to be fair, my biggest fight was going to be myself and that left rear tyre. As you see, Hamilton running away again. We are taking some of the most creative lines possible in this race to try and keep up. And you can see, I really look behind. Carlos Sainz, 4 tenths a second behind. We had run away from Gasly, who's now 1.4 seconds behind, 1.5. We use the DRS to keep up with Hamilton, keep ahead of Sainz, and hopefully, if the race got red flag and we stayed in this position, I'd be very content. I feel after the last race where everything went wrong, it was just a disaster. I was so disheartened. This is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be fighting for points, and that's where we're going to be aiming for. And you can see we're catching up to Hamilton again as we're very sidey. We gained like 7% of tyre wear, or 8% tyre wear on just that lap.
Here's some information on Russell for you.
Well, they said Russell's got a mechanical issue, but will we be able to catch him up? I don't know.
We're approaching
there you go. We got the pit window. We got the call for the pit window. Perfect. We are. I heard that call, and it was like time to lock in. Time to lock in, and that car starts apparently. But no, we didn't fight back. We're so sketchy in some of these corners. You can see that I was not content with some of these corners. Even gone wide into that left-hander. Like, oh dear. It just, I didn't feel planted. I didn't feel secure with the car. It just didn't feel like it was going to be my race. As we are just slowly trying to catch up to Hamilton, trying our best to catch up there. Was it going to work? I have no idea. But yeah, I will try. I have noticed that the quality of these videos are not great. I do want to try and improve the graphics of this video. So it'll be something to look forward to for the next one.
Okay, be careful.
But here we go. We're getting told we're going to do some grit. And I was feeling like I was just using grit about 3-4 laps ago. And taking those sausage curbs full belt, munching on them hard as we go into the right-hander, trying to keep up with Hamilton. I wondered if I could get into the pits with him, if the pit lane was... No, ignore me. Taking a V-bad line into that right-hander. You can see that I was trying to hope that he was going to go into the pits because I was struggling. I did consider, but unfortunately it was not our time to go. And it's like, we're waiting for like that call. We're waiting for that call, but you can see I'm losing so much time. And it just didn't feel stable. The car just didn't feel stable, but I was so impressed with keeping up with Hamilton and Sainz. And I think that DRS was helping me so much because you can see in the top left corner, we were nearly 4 seconds in front of Albon at times. And that's what we needed. We needed those 4 seconds gap because I wanted my top 10. I wanted my top 10. Of how bad last race went, I wanted to make sure we made absolute waves and come back strong for this race. As you can see, Carlos Sainz actually overtaking us around the outside. Once again, the straight line pace that we had was 0. It was like, well, bad.
Win that place back.
But we do fight back on Sainz. And go to make Sainz get our back end out. We almost used our rear end to kind of block any comeback from Sainz in that moment. But here we go. We go into the... Oof. Once again, I seem to be really good into the braking zones, but through the corner, bad. Out the corner, bad. As we do hit Carlos Sainz, that really nearly ruined our race. You can see I was struggling so bad, and that was really what it's me. That stopped me from being able to catch up with Hamilton and Carlos Sainz. Like, that contact was probably Sainz getting so frustrated.
We're coming in this
I felt like if
okay,
he pitted that earlier, that would have helped massively. As you can see the frustration, I cut the corner, went to the grass, and it just caused so much issue. I wanted to run away from Gasly. I could see Gasly was now within a second. Like, I had messed up so bad. This was not good for me. It was like the worst case scenario for me. And letting Hamilton and Sainz run away with this, okay, maybe I was like slowing them down massively. But now you can see I was almost throwing up Gasly and Albon and this pack behind me. Because it wasn't just them two, it was a whole pack of cars. Like, oh dear. You can see Stroll was back there as well, and it's like, you know what, we need to try our best at this. We had 50% tyre wear. Like, I believe we're going to go to the hards.
Okay,
I'm using all my overtake buttons to try and keep ahead. Like, try and effing it that I could. Making this Pen Grand Prix car as big as I can. Try and defend every corner. Just trying to keep ahead without losing too much time. But you can see Gasly's right there. They're faster than me. They even tried to make the move. They even made the move. I didn't see him. And we kind of cut off their nose. But we're sliding into the left and you know what? That was it. We had to pit. There was no chance of going another lap. But everyone, some cars went this lap, some cars went next lap.
Okay,
but you can see in front of us, Hamilton and Leclerc actually, well, they had their pit stop and completed the pit stop. We even got near them. So honestly, that was gutting for me. I felt quite soul destroyed at that point because we were racing them. But we had issues in the pit lane, and you can see how much time we lost. We'd gone back behind Magnussen, Alonso. We was in front of Snowden, Bottas. We had issues with the left rear. There we go. And you can see I was pushing Alonso through that corner. I was like, I knew I had to make use now to get these overtakes done because I was going to fall off very quickly. As you can see, it's a bit of a kamikaze dive into the inside of Alonso there. An absolutely insane move. Lunging into that. And, well, we had to catch up to Magnussen. So, it was one car down onto the next. It was really about trying to make use of these tyres quickly. Because we know on the long-term pace, I'm terrible. Short-term pace, we can just about hold on. So, using DRS now, using all the ERS, trying to catch up to Magnussen. It's not really working. It's not working, but I go into the braking zone and I'll just send it and hope for the best. And it worked. And now we're behind Ocon now. So, we was actually making these moves quickly. It was like, you know what? This is working. This is working. This is working. Can we do it again? Massively from far behind. Launch it over the curb. Like, I will say I'll never make these moves IRL, but damn, the fact it worked. You can see we're catching up to Jack Doohan, our teammate as well, who is just about to enter the pits now. So that's pretty much all we ever got to see of our teammate. Was in the distance, a little dot on the screen there, and there we go. We're overtaking a few cars now. We're right next to Stroll. Right, we cut up Stroll. We see Gasly, and we're like, okay. Gasly is in the top 10. Gasly is top 10. We need to overtake Gasly. We need to keep up with Gasly. We need to kind of catch up to Albon. Yeah. What can I say about that move? We just sent it. Gasly was in the cold tires, and we just sent it. I was desperate. I was like, after being P7 or 8, I thought we could actually be able to make this work. And to see the race deteriorate the way it did, well, not even that deteriorate, it's just we just wasn't in the right car. We just wasn't able to keep up pace, and this is why I was looking to make more upgrades. I feel like I've put so much energy into so much resources into the power of the car, and we've not got the straight line speed. Well, what can I do?
The car behind you,
so you can see we're catching up to Albon with 1.1 seconds. I'm like, okay, could we work with Albon to just kind of keep there, try and catch up, get into the DRS, and just be able to kind of hold on to that P9 instead. I also decided, okay, let's do some bad lines into corners as well. But, you know, it's just part of the deal. But, you know what? We're just getting there. And I think one issue I did have is I overfueled the car. You'll probably see in the bottom right. I had 2 laps extra fuel. Why? No idea. I just felt like carrying extra fuel, apparently. So, something I need to look at. I need to kind of, like, start lighting up the car. But you can see we're right back up to the bumper of Albon. And you can see we're about to give it a little, push through some of these corners. I really want to just kind of keep behind, use the DRS, use the ERS, and keep up. And hopefully, if we could do it, is make this race come back to us. Just, if we get point, if we get 1 point, 2 points, we'll take it. We'll take it at this point. It's really just about trying to get these points to kind of like give myself a pat on the back and go, you know what, make it slightly interesting. But I do make the overtake. I didn't really need to overtake. I didn't want to. But yeah, we had DRS. We had the opportunity. Let's go for it. And you see, Albon's still keeping up with us. Like, even though we've got DRS and use the overtake button button, Albon was still there. Albon was still there. And in fact, Stroll was actually starting to come to the picture. You can see P11, they're just under a second to Albon. So, you know what? I think it's a matter of even though we overtook, we was now going to have this massive pack of cars because unless I could break DRS,
Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 6.2
there you go.
seconds.
Turn 1, we do go pretty wide. Like, the consistency was not there. Alexander L. Turn 1, salmon on the brakes, and you'll be able to see. And something that I didn't see is I left the overtake button on. I just kept it pushed. I pushed it and didn't turn it off, and that led to me having all this speed down this section. We were 0.8 in front of Albon, but when we get to the that's at the activation point, the selection point. But when we got into the straight, we had no battery, and I had to turn it off. And go, oh no! I knew what was coming. That Williams and that Aston Martin were going to steamroll past me, and you can see. I almost said it happened, to be fair. I was like, have the inside, but we kind of squeezed him, and it kind of worked out. We do go very wide out that corner, and Albon coming back at us. Even Stroll coming back at us. I wanted to defend Stroll. I was still on the inside of Albon. I wanted to make sure we kind of kept up with this. I really felt, and this is the issue, I really felt like if I let the Williams pass, that was it. We was never going to catch him again. I really felt like my pace was only good for like 2 laps. So, we got 6 laps now? And that was going to be a matter of like, okay, the race is now fighting for 2 points, trying to make sure that we was able to finish the race and keep up with everyone and hopefully get in a position where we can keep some points, because at the moment, we're side by side with Albon. Albon was going to overtake us. It was going to keep overtaking us, nudging us. We was getting very aggressive. It's going to be a heated battle, and it's going to be a heated battle for all these laps, you know. Completely, you know, that 14 and 20, we had a fight on our hands. And as you can see, we're using the overtake now. We were saving our overtake specifically for this straight. Was kind of straight. This high-speed section, because I felt like we needed it to keep up. And that's really more the thing. It wasn't to be overtaken, it's more to keep up. As Albon and Stroll are fighting each other, that left us room to kind of like keep our distance. We're nearly a second outside of Albon.
No tyre concerns at the moment.
But you know, that DRS is so powerful. They gain about 3/10 on that short straight, short straight there. And into the right-hander, a little bit wide. No biggie. Left-handed, it didn't look like the car was planted. I don't know if it's a weird physics of the game or if I'm just bad and a mixture of both, to be fair. We come back onto the main start straight. We're using all the DRS available. And with 0.7, 0.8, we come to turn 1. We go a little bit, not too wide. But we had the whole pack behind us. I think this is one thing that I didn't realise at the time. I was really just focusing forwards, but I knew I could feel the pressure of almost the whole pack. Like there was a Haas car, there was a Pempe Grand Prix car. That was really about it, and maybe a Sauber that wasn't behind us. The rest of the pack, we was in front in the midfield. Like we're the best of the rest, and
okay, this is
but let's just get told off for cutting corners. I see why. I'm not going to lie. I do see why, but I think it shows how desperate I was. And I was checking the so on the straight, just kind of pushing as hard as we can. I start using the ERS. It's, when the DRS was open, you see Albon actually pushing us. They pushed us off track. I'm defended. Just taking my line. I totally took my line. We come into the right-hander. It's still 50% battery. Just trying to use it all. Trying to keep it fun. And I think that was... This is the thing. I don't think I was much faster at all. But was I slow enough to just keep ahead? Probably. Because I was just fast enough to make sure I wasn't being overtaken. And that's the main thing. I was slow, but I was fast enough just to make sure I wasn't overtaken. And that's kind of where we was at with this car. This car was not feeling like I was competitive. But you can see 10 seconds to the car in front now. We was never ever going to catch Carlos Sainz. We was never going to catch George Russell back up.
Just so
Here
you
we
know,
go.
we're getting some
Round
strange
the outside.
readings from a
Albon,
couple of
Albon.
the sensors, so I don't think you need to be
Back
worried.
to the
Just
inside.
some bad data. So keep doing what you're
Mark,
doing.
our
I'll let you
engineer,
know if
being
we
very
notice any
annoying there
genuine
as we
problems.
do get into a Titanic fight with Alex Albon, and we had the inside. We just really just getting so aggressive. And I think this is a big thing. Is I just really had enough of this race. I was like, I need to make this race as far as possible for me, and that's what we did. We made sure to make it as hardcore awesome as possible. As you can see, as we are just fighting with ERS, the DRS was always going to keep these cars coming back into the frame, and that's exactly what happened. Into the second straight now at the right-hander, Alex Albon just closing in massively. It got to below half a second. I make a very, very audacious cut into the corner there, which I don't know how we survived that. I don't think you'd have survived that in a F1 car. As we go to the left-hander, trying to keep the car in the shot. I really started to feel the car wasn't as stable as everyone else. You can see some of the lines really show that. Because I wanted to try and see if I could keep
Gap to the car in
this
front,
position. That was the priority. 2
11.4
points,
seconds.
better 1% point, better than no points. Yo, so we'd have 2 points finishes this season out of 3 races. That would be so cool. That'd be so cool. As you go into the braking zone, and it really felt like we were starting to get into our groove. Like it felt like all the drama we was having with the cars behind was starting to trickle out. I felt like I was really slowing the cars down. It was already 2 seconds behind Carlos Sainz extra where I was a lap ago. So we was probably losing about a second and a half, 2 seconds to the leaders every single lap, which is quite a lot. It's quite a lot. As you can see, Alex Albon overtaken now on the straight. Good engine, good aero, good DRS, good TRS.
Okay,
I did
we've
look
lost
at
the
trying to
position.
overtake,
That's
but
us
you
down a
knew there
place.
was almighty lunge, and I'm pushing through this next corner. I didn't have DRS, but I was using ERS, using the draft, and I wanted to get back at him, so I was quite impressed. Power of our car let us do that, as we was very aggressive, just getting our nose in front, and priority was getting nose in front and just stay there, be annoying, because I was surprised Stroll wasn't able to come back at us, and you see that would leave me defenseless in this next corner. 6 tenths in front of Albon, a second in front of Stroll. DRS was going to be pretty much king, and I think that's really a big thing that's going to be occurrence of this series, is how powerful the DRS is. It feels like a big thing in Formula 1 anyway, is how powerful DRS is just to help make moves happen. And you can see it's us sliding again. Like, honestly, the car was constantly sliding. I didn't feel stable. You can see I automatically look at the tyres going like, hey, are the tyres okay? Am I okay? And we got off that because I was panicking. But you can see into the right-hander, you charge its battery is at 98% before we started using it on the straight. And you can see it started to teach me a bit more about EOS management. It was like, okay, I want to use this at the points that I need to. As we're hitting 200 into this left-hander now, and well, you can see we just went wide there. I don't know what happened. I just kind of missed the turning on the right-hand corner. Whether the car was unstable, whether it's, yeah, I don't know. Here you go, ran the outside. Albon had a look-see. He did have a look-see, but you can see the whole pack is right behind us. This is the problem. If we go wide, then not only do we lose points, we actually lose so many positions. Like, we're literally fighting for our survival in this race. And lap 19, 2 laps to go now. Alex Albon, down to the inside. I couldn't even fight it. Like, I can only fight into the braking zone. Give him a bit of room. Make it difficult to complete that overtake. I felt like if Alex Albon completed the overtake, we were buggered. That was it. I was not going to be able to make this back. As you can see, we go wide into the right-hander. And, oh, you know what? I bet you, if Alex Albon was behind me, in real life, I don't think they would be added to that, because we just came back on the circuit. It was super aggressive, but we were thankful that it didn't cause any problems, didn't cause any damage to myself, and we was able to get back on with the race. But that is just, it showed how difficult this car was to drive. It felt horrible. And as you can see, Alex Albon overtakes us again. Looks like Stroll was about to, and we look to get to the inside of Albon. We give him a little nudge on the wheel, and it wasn't intentional, but look at the speed difference. Albon loses so much speed from that. Stroll thinking he could take advantage, and we just keep it there. Just keep it there. Albon even get back at Stroll as well. So it really felt like no matter what was going to happen, we was going to try our best, and it was going to prove important. It was going to prove important that we kept these sort of positions, because look at the gap now. It's 7 tenths onto this straight. I'm considering using ERS, but we didn't. We let Alex Albon in front a tiny bit. We just hang there. It's right there, corner. Interrupt his corner. But you can see everyone's on me now. Last lap, into this corner. We go into the braking zone. We do go so defensive. We wasn't taking a line of speed. We was taking line of defense. And it's pure desperation as we come into this right-hander. But look at the gap. It's 6 tenths now. It's 5 tenths. It seems like Stroll is right there. Stroll had overtaken Albon now, and we were still holding on for dear life. It was just pure desperation at this point, and you could probably tell that from this. It's like, you know what? We're just desperate. We're just hoping. We're just trying to keep this all together.
Okay, gap ahead.
So the gap in front was about 19 seconds, and once compared, I didn't get any issues on that straight. I was quite surprised. And that's when I felt like, you know what, we can relax now. I do not think that Stroll, even though he's only 3 tenths behind me, was not going to put the pressure on into these last few corners. Unless I did a mistake. So it's just, let's just get to the finish. Let's just get over the line, get this P9 position. And that's exactly what happened. 30 minutes, pure racing, no issues. Down to the pit lane, and the checkered flag waving. I love how the engineer sounded so grumpy about it. It's like, oh, you scored us points. Well done with our terrible car. Well done getting driver of the day. No. Just get the car home. Cool. Job well done. Next. So,
Lando Norris, take a bow. At last, a winner in Formula One.
And they led every single lap of the race. It was a lights to flag victory, and that is total dominance.
Our winning.
So let's go and look at the positions and the point standings. So you see Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Sainz, Hamilton. Then there's us in P9, Lance Stroll. But you could see, I really want to see how far Jack Doohan was behind. It's 57 seconds, so 24 seconds. And that's just really where I'm trying to gauge how good we're doing. We go look at standings now, and we're still on P10, 6 points. We were doing pretty decent. Like, okay, behind Gasly, but in front of Ocon, you know what? We're just kind of like there. I know I'm not really shouldn't be paying attention to the point, but look, P6 overall in the constructors as well. You know what? We'll take it. It's getting these small wins.